Sup kids? A bit of a theory video today, and we are going back to Vienna. If you saw my how to annihilate a 1500 video the other day, so this came from Craig's session early a few days ago, where I volunteered to take on Craig and the Chess Bootcamp Live gang, and got absolutely creamed. And I got absolutely creamed in the Poulsen attack line from the Vienna Gambit declined. Okay, so this is main line. So it's e4, e5, the Vienna game. Knight f6 makes perfect sense. And then the Vienna Gambit. Now black can decline with d6. But the best move, the book move here, and the only one that actually equalises for black, is the move d5. Now, the Poulsen attack continues with queen to f3. And this is actually, I just checked Gotham Chess's video on the Vienna that's been seen like 2.7 million times or something crazy, right? And this is the move that he presents in that video, and for that reason, very likely, it's become extremely popular, and therefore more people are looking at it, and more people know what to do. And there are, you know, the classic attack is knight takes here. We take the knight. Is it no, we take the pawn, then knight takes, and then queen comes out. Okay, that's the Poulsen. The queen comes out, we trade knights, and generally people know what to do. And then the move c5 is the thing that completely stuck me on a spike against Craig, and you know, they played with 94 accuracy in that one. There's also this very awkward, if you bring your queen out here, there's this very nasty knight to c6 line as well, which is really trappy and worth looking into. Now, so as is my way, because I'm A, lazy, B, old, and C, a coward, I didn't want to get into all this shenanigans. Okay, so I've been and had a look at the Lead Chess Players database. Now, here's something interesting. If I set the rating, so I'm like 1800 Lead Chess, right? To about 1500 equivalent on chess.com. If I set it to 1600, 1800, okay, and I'm going to just scroll down here. The most common moves here are f takes e5, e takes d5, knight f3, played by white, then d3, and this is all kind of, but black is slightly better in all of them apart from fe. Okay, fe is okay, but we know what happens if you go down that line, right? Fe, knight takes, blah blah blah, and then queen out. And then we're scrolling down and scrolling down and scrolling down. And then you've got knight takes d5, you've got queen f3, blah, blah, blah. And then queen e2 looks absolutely appalling, with 33% win rate for white and 63% for black, right? However, something rather curious happens if you change up. And I have to say that I'm trying to build a repertoire that can get me to, you know, 2000 rapid on chess.com, which is like 2500 on Lead Chess, I would imagine, right? So these are the guys I want to learn how to beat. I don't want to learn how to beat 1600s. I can already beat 1600s. I can already beat 1800s, right? When I'm on form. I want to beat 2000, 2200s and so on. But check this out, right? Change it to that. Then we've got the most common moves. F takes e5, okay? And white still does all right. ED, black does a bit better. Knight f3, black does a bit better. d3, black does slightly better. d4, black definitely does better. That's not the cleverest. Qe2, 57% for white, 35% for black. Okay, so that got me thinking. So I've done a little bit of digging into this, and it looks like a really weird move. Qe2, queen to e2. Now, why? Why this move? Okay, and this is actually at the expert level the winningest move for white. Now you might say, well, it's a bit weird because we're sticking the queen in front of the bishop, so we might make life hard for our bishop. However, you know, queens are mobile, And also, the G pawn might move and let the bishop out at some point. But we are also sticking the queen in line with black's king, and there will be threats of discoveries and pins and so on and so forth. But what's very attractive to me about this is that black won't have seen this very often. They'll have prepared against the Paulsen. They'll have prepared against the most common couple of lines. But black isn't going to be met with the Vienna too often. Right? At club level, it's not that popular. So, what are they going to do? Well, now the most common move at the lower levels are d4, pushing this pawn, and bishop g4. Bishop g4 you just meet by blocking it with a knight with development, right? But bishop g4 is not great, and it's not really played at the higher levels, which is what we are looking at. All right, now most common moves are. We'll go through these in order. I've got 5, and we'll just kind of flow through so you can get a feel for this and try and answer this question: what is that queen doing there? Okay, so this is the main line. This is the most common continuation with d4. Okay, and black is slightly better according to the engine, but engine schmengine. That's what I always say. Okay, now let's go through it. And interestingly, 58% for white against 32 already here, right? But this is expert level chess. Right, we take the pawn. We take the pawn because we're capturing towards the centre, we're removing a central pawn. We've still got now 3 central pawns, we're hitting the knight, right? So it's Freddy all the way. Go, Freddy. So, right, most common move, they will take here. And so they take our knight. We have to take their knight, of course. And they will now take here with check. Obviously, we're not going to take really with the queen. We take with the bishop because it's development, and we're getting ready to castle. And we're preparing a discovered attack against the queen. Okay, all good. Most common move, queen takes the pawn. Obvs, yeah? We long castle. And now look, we've castled. We've got a bishop out, we've got a queen out, right? We've got a pawn in the centre. Black has no central pawns and only a queen on the board. But what happens next? They play knight c6. We play our opposite knight out. Black's best moves here, according to Stockfish, are bishop d7, bishop e7, bishop b4, queen e6 and bishop g4. They're all around +4, +0.4 to +0.74 in white's favour. But not the most common move. The most commonly played move here is, like we've seen, bishop g4. Bishop g4 is not fantastic. Now here what we do, move the bishop out of the way, hit the queen and stick our rook on the open d-file. Lovely. Right, queen moves here with check, you move out of the way. They put their bishop here, and white is just a bit better. Right, we're +1, but we've got lots of activity. It's a nice situation. Obviously, there's going to be endless lines within that, but that is the most common line that you will see at the expert level. Okay, and this is the theory that I want to be learning. Right, you want to be setting your sights in front of where you are now. Not exactly where you are now, because you'll probably fall over, and certainly not. You don't want to be looking at how to beat people who are weaker than you. That's not the point. Right? Our improvement lies ahead of us down the path, but not a million miles ahead down the path. Right? We shouldn't be necessarily copying the top super GM's theory and playing what they're playing, because our opponents probably won't play ball with that. We want to be practicing at the levels that the players that we want to beat next, and that's the key. Okay, well, let's look at the second most common continuation. Right, so Vienna Gambit declined, best move. Okay, and we ignore all of this stuff with capturing the pawn. We play queen e2. Now, if they take this, and this is the second most common move. Okay, we take. Now we've got 2 attackers on e5. Right. They will bring a knight out, doesn't matter, that's only 1 defender. Okay, they come out with the bishop. And this is important. We push c3. Why are we pushing c3? Obviously, look at that. Chain of fools. Yeah? They castle, hit it. d4, right? And I've got all of these as interactive lessons, so you can hit preview and whatever on here as well. d4, and we are now +2 already, right? That's all you need to know. This bishop is now imprisoned. He's going to be imprisoned back here, unless he wants to retreat to there. And obviously, bishop d3 has to come. We've got a lovely dark square bishop ready to jump in. We've got a knight. We've got a semi-open f-file. We could play harry up. We're probably going to castle long, but castling short is great as well. Right? What's not to like about this position? Plus 2.2 now. Okay, next up, move number 3, please. Vienna Gambit declined. Qe2. Okay. EF. EF, playable. Okay. We occupy the centre with d4. Right. You don't play e5 here. It's a mistake. Occupy the centre. They take. We take. They take. We take with check. Okay. So we now have a fork. We'll probably capture that with the bishop. By the way, don't waste time with your queen when you can do this with development and prepare to castle. Okay. They block with queen. Trade. Grab the pawn. Okay. And now you'll notice we have equal material, but in terms of activity, we are ready to castle long with a centralized rook. We are also targeting the c7 pawn, so he's got to do something about that. If he blocks, he's going to get an isolated pawn. You know, this bishop has lots of scope. We're all good. We're plus 0.4, so it's not massive. But you know, here's the thing: if you play these lines with Qe2, your opponent is likely never to have seen it ever. Okay, last couple, just for giggles. Okay, so here we go. E4, E5, Vienna, Gambit, declines. Qe2. I bring out their knight. Okay, and this is, you know, the computer says black is good. We bring out our knight. Okay, so now a 4-knight situation. And interestingly, you know, we sometimes might, the next two variations actually transpose to the same thing. So they bring out their bishop to g4. It's not the best move, right? They've gone from minus 0.9 to plus 0.6, so that's at least inaccurate, right? There's no major threat. Off you go, Freddie. Freddie, grab the pawn, hit the knight. Okay, they come in. Might be a good time to pause, actually, right? We have a few issues, right? We've got two attackers on this knight, but it's got two defenders. That's not the end of the world. However, our queen is being attacked, and so is the c2 pawn, which comes with a king rook fork, which we don't want. Okay, so there's really only two moves here. Queen d1, however, is a terrible mistake. Okay, queen d1, then knight takes e4. It's saying, yes, it's gonna end in tears. You cannot do that. You have to do this move. Okay, queen d3. Okay, now most commonly played move here at expert level, right? And now we go for the horse meat. Okay, notice we are still threatening this. Okay, so what they've done here is they've counterattacked our queen, but if we go here, we are now attacking two knights. So what are they going to do? Well, if they take this pawn and hit the knight, sorry, hit the queen, you take the knight, they go ahead and take the other horse, but we have queen takes queen, rook takes queen, take the horse, +4, thank you very much indeed. And if you find yourself with the immediate bishop g4, it's the same story. It's the same story, right? Vienna Gambit declines, Qe2, out comes the bishop, block it with the horse, okay? They bring out the other horse, and it's the same setup, exactly, right? We take the pawn, hit that, they come in, attack us, queen d3, not queen d1, takey, blah, blah, blah. Happy days, okay? So that's the idea. And it involves Freddie. You know, Freddie loves to get involved in the action and give up his pathetic, worthless little life as early in the game as possible. And this variation gives him a great opportunity to do it. So I think we should all encourage little Freddie in that. So there you go. That's my current line in response to the best way to decline the Vienna Gambit. So give it a whirl. Maybe you play this. You know, let me know how it goes for you, what to look out for, are there any interesting traps, stuff like that. But other than that, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to Chess Bootcamp if you haven't subscribed before, and I'll see you soon.